Welcome to our channel. Today we're diving into some of the most bizarre scandals in royal history that have shocked the world. From public denials to abdications, these stories are as intriguing as they are unbelievable. Kings and queens, princes and princesses, they exist in a world apart, cloaked in an aura of power, privilege and mystique. Yet behind the gilded cages and beneath the shimmering crowns, these figures are as human as any of us. They experience the same desires, the same frailties, and yes, the same capacity for scandal. Join us as we journey through history to uncover the stories behind the headlines, peering into the lives of monarchs and their courts, where love, betrayal, ambition, and despair have played out on a grand stage. Our journey begins in the heart of the British Empire with the tumultuous reign of King George IV. Married in 1795 to his cousin Caroline of Brunswick, the future king's distaste for his bride was immediate and profound. So estranged was the couple that their only child, Princess Charlotte, was born after a mere 3 weeks of cohabitation. Caroline, known for her vivacious personality and lack of decorum, found herself increasingly isolated and under suspicion. Her husband indulged in affairs, fathering illegitimate children and racking up colossal debts. Upon George's ascension to the throne in 1820, the chasm between the estranged couple reached its peak. Determined to rid himself of Caroline, George sought to bar her from his coronation and annul their marriage on the grounds of adultery. Caroline returned to England, rallying public opinion to her side. The Queen Caroline affair became a national obsession, with pamphlets and broadsides flooding the streets. Despite the King's efforts, the annulment bill failed to pass the House of Lords, and Caroline had dealt a blow to the monarchy's authority. The House of Windsor was shaken to its core in the latter half of the 20th century by Diana, Princess of Wales. Thrust into the global spotlight upon her marriage to Prince Charles, Diana's every move was scrutinized. Behind the fairy tale facade lay a marriage riven by infidelity and insecurity. Charles, still carrying a torch for Camilla Parker Bowles, seemed ill-equipped to handle the media frenzy. Diana struggled to find her place within the rigid confines of royal protocol. Rumors of marital discord culminated in a bombshell 1992 biography, Diana: Her True Story. The book, penned with Diana's covert cooperation, detailed her struggles with bulimia, her husband's coldness, and the pressures of royal life. Diana's decision to speak out resonated deeply with a public hungry for authenticity. She became a symbol of strength and vulnerability, challenging the institution that sought to control her. Charles and Diana separated, and the Queen ordered an end to their union. Diana emerged as a global icon, her honesty and compassion endearing her to millions. We turn to the 14th century, a time of knights, chivalry, and royal intrigue. Our protagonist is Isabella, Queen of England, known as the She-Wolf of France for her ruthlessness. Married at 12 to King Edward II, Isabella found herself isolated by her husband's favoritism towards Piers Gaveston. Edward, perceived as a weak ruler, further alienated his nobles by lavishing Gaveston with titles. Isabella grew frustrated by her husband's indifference and lack of power. Drawn to Roger Mortimer, a powerful baron, their affair had explosive consequences. In 1326, Isabella and Mortimer launched an invasion of England, capturing Edward. Forced to abdicate in favor of his son, Edward was murdered, likely on Isabella and Mortimer's orders. Isabella achieved her goal, but her legacy was forever stained by the blood of her husband. Our journey takes us to the twilight years of the Russian Empire, and a mystical figure who cast a long shadow over the Romanov dynasty. Grigory Rasputin, a self-proclaimed holy man, wormed his way into the heart of the Russian court. Tsarina Alexandra, desperate to cure her hemophiliac son, turned to Rasputin. Rasputin quickly gained a hypnotic hold over the Tsarina, becoming her confidant and spiritual advisor. Rumors of debauchery, corruption, and black magic followed Rasputin. His presence at court became a lightning rod for discontent, undermining the Romanov regime. The Russian people viewed Rasputin as a symbol of everything wrong with their country. In December 1916, nobles lured Rasputin to a palace, poisoned, shot, and finally drowned him. The assassination hastened the monarchy's demise. Within months, the Tsar abdicated, and the Romanov dynasty ended. Rasputin's legacy intertwined with the fall of the Romanovs. Our final destination is the British monarchy for a story that shook its foundations. At the heart of this scandal was King Edward VIII and Wallis Simpson, an American socialite. Edward ascended to the throne in 1936, but his gaze was fixed on Wallis. Their love affair became the subject of intense speculation. Simpson, twice divorced, was deemed unsuitable as a consort for the king. Prime Minister Stanley Baldwin and the governments of the Dominions opposed the marriage. Edward remained undeterred, determined to marry Wallis. In December 1936, Edward made an unprecedented decision. Rather than renounce his love, he chose to abdicate the throne. Edward's reign lasted a mere 326 days. His younger brother, George VI, ascended to the throne. Edward and Wallis retreated to France, living out their days as the Duke and Duchess of Windsor. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more fascinating stories from history. See you next time. And so we conclude our exploration of royal scandals. These stories remind us that even in the most rarefied circles, the same passions and frailties bind us all. The allure of royalty lies not just in the splendor, but in the human dramas behind the palace walls. In these moments of vulnerability, we catch a glimpse of ourselves reflected in the lives of kings and queens.